I'm sitting down with Duane Howard, who plays Elk Dog, the leader of the Arikara tribe, in the newly released and 3-time Golden Globe Award-winning motion picture, The Revenant. So, hi Duane.
Hello.
I'm going to just start off by saying congratulations on the massive sweep that The Revenant won at the Golden Globes. It's insane. You guys won Best Director, Best Actor in a Dramatic Motion Picture, and Best Picture. Am I correct? So 3 of the big ones. Yeah. You must be excited.
Yeah, I'm really excited. Looking forward to in the future what's the outcome of everything is.
Right. That's amazing. Well, congratulations once again. That's so exciting for you and the director and everyone that's on the movie.
Yes.
So tell me a little bit about Elk Dog, your character.
Elk Dog, he's like a fierce warrior. He's really strong. Really, he's the kind of warrior that he can do anything he wants, and he'll get away with it. But through that terms of he'll have people will respect him for what he does, and people stand beside him, and people honor and respect him of what he does. And his character in the movie is out looking for his daughter that has been kidnapped by the trappers, and so he's on the revenge of getting these people, and he gets his revenge.
He gets his revenge.
Yeah. So it was interesting that they put that in because at the beginning of the show it wasn't like that. There was no storyline to it. It was probably about halfway through the movie when they changed the dialogue. So it's interesting. I didn't realize that till when I was up in Yellowknife, and I thought, when did all that change? And then I remember being down in Argentina or doing that ADR work, and I'm like, my daughter? I'm looking for my. When did I lose my daughter? Right? And that's what happened. And because there's a scene in there, the French trapper scene where we're shooting that dialogue, and all I was negotiating was the furs and the guns and the horses. And then all of a sudden this whole different dialogue come in about talking about our people and everything. And even then I didn't really take a look at the English version of it because I was more focused on studying the new lines of the Arikara.
Right.
So I had to really pretty much change that whole monologue.
Yeah.
So that was really challenging of learning a Arikara language. That was probably one of the challenges in the movie.
Right.
Of learning a different dialect.
Yeah, I read in your past interviews you mentioned that one of the most challenging things is learning the dialect.
Yes, it is.
And I also read a quote from the director himself. He said that you managed to not only convey the language so beautifully, but also with so much emotion behind it. And I'm just wondering, for you as an actor, where do you tap into those emotions?
When I look at it, I tap. I got asked keep getting asked that question.
Yeah.
I go down deep inside of myself, of the dark side of that I had of my life and my past. And I lived a really dark life, dark, lonely life. So there's moments in the scenes where I had to go back to that time and actually just feel it.
Yeah.
And show him. Because there was a lot of scenes where I didn't even have any dialogue. I had to.
You have to convey it through your facial expressions.
My facial expressions and stuff like that. Right. Yeah. So it can get really challenging, and too at the same time it can get really draining.
Yeah.
Because there were times I was just mostly and mentally tired at the end of the day.
Right.
Where I just wanted to go to my room and lay down.
In your trailer and just take a nap.
Yeah.
Is there a special meaning behind the name Elk Dog?
Actually, there's it got changed. At the beginning of the show, when I got the audition, his name was Elk Tongue.
I heard.
Yeah,
I heard.
And then just before we started shooting, one of the consultants told them that they wanted to change the name to Elk Dog because they were figuring that it might be a little bit too offensive for the film to be Elk Dog, and at the same time of not respecting that name, because that name is actually a real name of one of the warriors back in the Sioux Nation. So they didn't want to get put out there and be teased and laughed at because of my name in the movie, right? So they switched it to Elk Dog.
Mm-hmm. And what does Elk Dog mean?
Elk Dog, it's names that are. I'm not the guy just threw Elk Dog in there.
Oh, he just threw it in. Yeah, like that sounds about right.
Because back in the day, we get our names through passed down generations and that, right? Mm-hmm. So at the same time, it's like sometimes your name is given down to you. Ones that we call it our spiritual names, and once that gets down to you, that name is well respected. You have to really honor that. You have to really honor that name. Mm-hmm. You have to walk it. Yeah.
Right. And I know before this particular role in The Revenant, you've been taking a long break from acting. Am I correct?
Yes. Yeah. I took a year off actually because I wanted to focus on being with my family and my children, and taking the time just to be with them. Because there are times I'm gone for 3-4 months. I don't see my family.
Right.
But now. Today, like even social media and that, keeping posts with them on that, it's still not enough. I want to see them physically, and I want to be with them, spend time with them. So yeah, it can get pretty lonely.
Right.
There was times, I talked about that the other day, and that people ask me, man, you must be having a lot of fun on set and being on films and working with all these big actors and everything. No, it's not actually happening. I mean, I'm happy that I'm working with them,
right.
But I'm working like 12, 14-hour days, and going through the emotional roller coaster ride.
Right.
And after the second week, all I want to do is just go home and see my family.
Yeah.
Because I want to just go into my room by myself.
Yeah.
And I'm lonely, and I'm sitting there lonely, and thinking about my kids and my family, my mom and my dad, and then it's just this loneliness. It just hits you. I shouldn't say hits you, but it just hits me.
Right.
And I go through that phase, and so and at the same time, sometimes it takes I take advantage of those feelings because I work it through the film.
Right. You take those feelings and put it into Elk Dog instead.
Yeah. So yeah.
Wow, but I'm sure they are very happy for you right now for all you accomplished in this film.
Oh yeah. It is very, and I expressed out to them that when I first started 16 years ago, that I never felt really supported in my community.
Yeah.
Even from my own family and friends, and I was told that as a native actor you won't make it. Mm-hmm. And lo and behold, I wound up walking the red carpet with
That's
the
amazing.
biggest
stars in Hollywood. Yeah.
And it was an honor, and it was a really exciting moment for me too.
Right. You speak a lot about your past, and looking at your past right now, it's almost like you've lived a pauper to prince lifestyle. And knowing that your past did play a part in helping you prepare for this role, and even getting the role of Elk Dog, would you have changed anything? I don't know, anything in your past, would you have changed the life that you lived?
No, honestly, I wouldn't have. I wouldn't want to change anything that I experienced.
Yeah.
Because for me, I tell people it's a part of my journey. It's a part of my life. It's a part of my life that strengthened me. It's something that I look at as a learning lesson, and then because it helps me not to take things for granted today. And it helps me appreciate life, even right now. Yeah. My purpose right now in life is being here right now.
Being present in the moment.
Yeah, just being in the moment and appreciating it, of what comes forth in my life. So I take it, full stride, and I hold it. With great honor and pride to what I do nowadays.
Right. The Revenant was filmed in a very, very cold location for a long period of time. And I know the director, Alejandro, is known because of Birdman for his long shots. So you don't take a lot of breaks in between each shot in the cold. So how do you guys keep warm? That's what I'm curious to know. How do you stay in character and keep warm?
In between takes, they gave us jackets and heaters to stand beside, and they really they took care of us. And there were times where we just were wearing jackets, because they couldn't get the heaters up there and stuff like that, And but it was really brutal weather, like minus 21, minus 25.
Oh my goodness!
And they're standing there, just like still as possible, and not showing that you were cold, Because when you look back at it in those days, like it was 1823, that was. At the time when there was really no law, no territorial rights or anything, right?
Yeah.
And then, having these young men come out of nowhere and coming out to this wilderness and finding out, what they endured, And here we are in 2015, parkas and everything,
We were joking off camera that your body temperature increases in the cold. So I think you're fine. I think you were better than everybody else.
It helped actually. It helped. And I don't know. That just happens to me during winter time. So
that's good. You could be in more shots where it's filmed in Yellowknife or Alberta, and it's really cold. I am dying to ask you, actually, how it was like working with Leonardo DiCaprio and Tom Hardy. Like, are you guys best friends now? Do you call each other by your nicknames? Do you have his cell phone number in your phone?
I really got to get to know them because, I got to talk with them personally and on set and off set. I shared about my life with them, my hardships, my hard times, but not only that, but to who I am, and when I started with them, and it was like I was overwhelmed, but then after that, it was just like they're just as human as us,
right?
Because every time we sat down like this on set, me and Leo were just kicked right back, like they say, "Hey, how's mom?" And he'd say, "All right, just over here, actually, and how's Dad doing? Is he coming on set?" And talking about family and friends, right? But it's really an honor to work with them, and all of them. I had a chance to sit down and talk with them on a personal level, and just be human. Kind of take off our hats on. I'm not the actor anymore.
Right.
This is Duane Howard, and that's Leo, and that's Alejandro's, and that's Tom, and Will, and the rest of the actors, we took that time. Let's just put all these things aside right now. Let's just be human, because I've learned that, when I came into this field of work, one of the things one of my teachers told me, she says, you must remember to walk humbly.
Yeah.
Be humble about the gifts that you can become, that come to you. Be humble about it. And so I take that to strive, and I take that to respect to a lot of others. So every time, even on long, tired days, and after a month of shooting, everybody's tired now, But me, I come on set, good morning, just all smiles and everything, and everybody's just kind of like, wow, this is a month of shooting there. He's still smiling.
Brings the energy up, right?
Yeah, so I also try to maintain that and just to feel good and be happy with what you've got, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Right, I think that's so important as well.
Yeah. But working with them, great. I mean, it's amazing, watching them and experiencing them. Like every time they were doing a scene, I was actually in back, and behind the camera, they're watching.
Just cheering them on.
Yeah, not even cheering on, just like watching them. How one minute. There's me and Leo talking, and all of a sudden there's Hugh Glass.
Right.
And it's really interesting how they divert that, and then all of a sudden it's this quick change, and it's just like, so And at the same time watching him, and when they come to set, it's like, okay, it's like, you know when to go to see them, and then you know when to not.
Right.
Because there was times where I seen him, and all of a sudden it was like I could see him, he was getting into character.
Gotcha, yeah.
You know? Yeah.
What are those moments for you when you're sitting down by yourself and you're trying to get into character?
I stand back.
Yeah.
I stand away. I tell everybody, just stay away from me.
Yeah, just give me my space.
Can you just move back?
Yeah.
Just leave me. Just leave me right now. And then it got to a point where I just got on set and I could just stood there and I just closed my eyes and I'd be in focus and everybody's seeing what I was doing right away and they just move away.
Wow.
Just move away.
Wow.
Yeah.
And you do your own stunts on set as well.
Yeah.
So all the stunts in The Revenant, you did it on your own.
Yeah.
Is there any highlights you can share with us?
Probably the most intense one was right at the beginning of the show, the battle.
Right.
Where I got shot up the horse. And I did that probably about 8, 9 times, 10 times.
Wow.
Like that. Yeah, so it was gutted because it was like physically, mentally, emotionally draining. You know, because I had to get on my horse and I had to gallop out and scream and yell, and this guy gets hit in the eye with an arrow and I go by and I'm supposed to hit him with my club, and then almost when I'm direct call all this stuff out, you know, and barking orders to my warriors, and all of a sudden I'm supposed to turn around like that just in time for Tom to shoot me.
And then just fall off the horse.
Yeah, and then fall off, right? So, but it was kind of awkward because I got shot over here, but I was supposed to fall off to the right. You know, so.
Nobody needs to know that.
But it was like, it was really intense. It was tiring because, you know, Alejandro's wanted to see my look like close up.
Yeah.
And they actually had a stunt double for me at the beginning, and then Alejandro was like, no, I want Duane up there. You know, he's just stuntman. Let's see.
Yeah.
You know, so that was probably the toughest one, tiring and grueling and intense.
Wow.
Yeah. So by the end of the day, I was, like I said, I was just drained.
Yeah.
And I felt it the next day, physically.
Yeah.
Like I woke up like sore. Like
you guys have breaks,
body.
or do you shoot day by day by day?
No, we shoot day by day, you know.
Yeah.
You know, during the week, Monday to Friday, and we have breaks on the weekend, and there are points in times where they did shoot on Saturday, you know, which was required, but you know, I was grateful that I didn't have that time to do that.
Yeah.
So there was a lot of times there were probably B-roll shots, you know, so that we didn't have to be in them, right? So, yeah.
The Revenant itself, in the essence of its story, is about a man who's fighting to survive. He's fighting to stay alive. How close is the story, this movie, close to your own personal journey?
It was close because, you know, when I look at it and I look at my life of the struggles and hardships and disappointments and the things that I've endured spiritually, mentally, emotionally, physically.
Yeah.
You know, I talk about that in my stories to people, you know, because there are times and points in my life where I just wanted to walk away.
Yeah.
I wanted to walk away from you people. I didn't want to be around you people. You know, and, but there are times where I had that moment where if you just showed up, I just like, you know, and it's like, wow, there are people there.
Yeah.
There are people there for me. And it's like, you know, like I said, how I look at it, Alejandro was asking me that, and I told him, I said, you know what, he asked me what the film, he says, what do you think the film is all about? And I said, it's about survival.
Yeah.
It's about survival, and at the same time, I said, that's what we're doing here in this film, is we're surviving.
Yeah.
Because we're going through all these hard conditions, treacherous days, long days, and at the end, we're still here, we're still standing at the end of the day, we're still standing.
Yeah.
And I said, but for you just want to keep shooting.
You're behind the camera and the leader.
Yeah. So, and it's like, that's what it is for me in my experience of that, and I'm grateful, because when I look at it every day is about survival.
Yeah.
When you really look at it, put it in perspective of your own life, right? And that's why I tell people we're human. Things do happen in life, So I don't question these things in life. I just kind of like ride the wave, they say.
Yeah.
And just appreciate those moments. Even my hard times, even those disappointing times, Because okay, well, I didn't get that part for that movie. Time to move on.
Yeah. Take it with a grain of salt. On to the next adventure.
On to the next one. Right? So that's how I look at it.
So when Leo was accepting his award at the Golden Globes for Best Actor in a Dramatic Motion Picture, I was very touched by his speech, and I'm sure you were as well. He dedicated, the award to the indigenous community, as well as the actors, and for yourself being First Nations and having such a close-knit part in the movie and working directly with Leo, to hear these words come out of his mouth, to feel that you're a part of the award that he is accepting. How was that for you?
I got emotional.
Yeah.
Actually, because I just happened to get home that evening, and I just walked in right away, sat down, and somebody texted me and said, "Oh, I'm watching the Golden Globe Awards, and Alejandro is one of the best director." And so I quickly went and turned the TV on, and there in the hole, they just announced Best Actor, Leonardo DiCaprio, and I was just like, wow, just a gotcha moment or what? And then we're sitting there, and then we're watching it, and then when he said he wanted to dedicate it to all the First Nations people in the cast, I just like literally just.
You start tearing up.
I started choking up, and I looked at my friends, and I didn't want to say anything right away. And then I looked over at them. I said, "Did you guys get choked up when you said that too?" And he goes, "Yeah." Yeah. I said, "Yeah." I said, "I did too." He said, so all three of us were like holding our throats, like we could still feel it, right? I was really filled with joy when he said that and when he mentioned that. And what a humble man for him to say and acknowledge our people throughout North America like that. Not only in the South, but everybody in the whole part of North America, right? And I was asked, while I hope it opens up the eyes to Hollywood, and realize, that as these First Nations people, we all have talents, we all have successful moments we want to do, and I'm grateful to Chief Dan George, who actually opened up for us years back ago in the 60s when he came out with this in the early 70s, with Dustin Hoffman, and Little Big Man. And he's our first native to ever make it in Hollywood. And that was years ago, right? And now it's progressing, and now there's more and more of us, right? But I feel like, there's more. There's not only myself, there's an abundance of First Nations actors out there that need to be recognized for their skill and their talent, of what they have to offer to Hollywood, and everything, and stop the stereotype of things that, and I have much respect to a lot of directors, a lot of writers, and everything, right? But I was saying yesterday, it's time for us to tell our stories, the reality of our stories, and I say this because we all have a story. You look at how many feature films that are out right now, they're based on true events and true stories. Right.
This is based on a true story too.
This one is based on a true story, right? So there's abundance of stories that we have that we need to bring in and be acknowledged.
So I'm going to assume that you've already watched the movie a couple of times. And that smile proves that I'm right. Will you ever get used to seeing yourself on the big screen?
It's interesting how you say that, because the last few movies that I did and have done, I've never really watched them.
Definitely.
And I don't know why, but this one here, I felt it. I think because of the shift that I went through in the movie. And I was mentioned to say this is that Elk Dog, I brought Elk Dog to life, and Elk Dog brought Duane to life.
That is so beautiful.
Because Elk Dog created a lot of confidence in me because of what I had to deliver for Alejandro's. So I had to find something. And little did I know that building up this character helped me create my self-esteem and helped me create my confidence. So that's the way I see it, is that, I brought Elk Dog alive, Elk Dog brought Duane alive.
Beautiful.
And and watching myself on the screen, actually for the first time like that down in the premiere of December 16th, I was like, wow.
Yeah.
And I was really happy with my performance, and I could understand now why that Alejandro's and Leonardo said, you should be really proud of yourself for what you've done for us and for the film.
You should.
Yeah.
You should be, definitely.
And when I seen it, I was like, yeah. And it was funny, a friend of mine asked me, he goes, how many times did you see this movie now, And I told him, I said, well, I've seen it so many times right now, I could write out the script for you right now. It's a kind of a joke, but I've seen it twice.
Wow.
Twice, And it's great. It's a great film, a great piece, well done. And hands up to everybody that has worked on The Revenant, everybody. And I was really honored and blessed to work with all those people, every single one, even the background people, the extras, and the stunt guys, and the stunt coordinators, the catering, all those people. Everybody was a part of that film, and everybody survived through that. The ones that hung in there and stayed. And I'm grateful for all those people that stuck it out like that. And we did endure a lot. We did endure a lot of things through that show. So it was a really tough show. Yeah, but seeing myself, I was really happy with my work and what I'd done. So I'm hoping that it will open the doorways for me up this year.
I bet. I wish you all the best. Yeah.
Thank you.
Anyway, I just want to say thank you for your time, Duane. It's such an honor to just hear your story and hear your experience with working with The Revenant, and I just wish you, the best of luck.
Mm-hmm. Thank you for taking the time. Listen to my story.
Oh, no worries.
I appreciate what you do in your life too.
Thank you. I just want to give a big thank you shout out on behalf of Blush Vancouver to Holt Renfrew for the wardrobe and the venues.
Yeah.
So you look so good.
Thank you. Yeah. Tom Ford.